If you're a mood reader like me, a monthly TBR is a bit of a work of fiction. So instead of pretending that I'm going to be able to follow one, I'm going to do a spring TBR. Books that are already waiting in my Kindle, my Audible, my Libby, and my NetGalley. Some of these are BookTok favorites, dark romance chaos, thrillers, and a few arcs I probably shouldn't have requested. But here we are. I'm Larissa, and welcome back to the Perimenopause Book Club, where we read viral books that everyone else is reading, just from a 40s perspective and a little less patience for nonsense. If you're new here, I review BookTok favorites, thrillers, dark romance, and overall bestsellers through the lens of somebody who has read a lot of books and survived a lot of life. So if that sounds like your vibe, please subscribe because we're just getting started here. All right, so let's talk about the spring TBR chaos. First up, the Kindle lineup. I would say 90% of the books I read are on my Kindle. The Lies of Lena by Kylie Snow. I almost know nothing about this book other than its secrets, lies, drama, and that I love the cover. I don't know why. I'm just so drawn to this cover. I think it's beautiful, and that alone just made me get it because at some point I'm going to read it, and I'm determined for it to be this spring. Sometimes knowing a little bit less about a book is just the way to go for me. The blurbs sometimes tend to ruin those for me. Next is Fruit of the Flesh by Ivy Ophelia. And this one's funny because it's the first Goodreads giveaway that I have ever won. If you're wondering, does anybody ever actually win those? I mean, it's probably been a year of me signing up for Goodreads giveaways. And I try to keep up with, like, every couple days I'm checking if there's new ones, and I'm click. Like, I'm constantly signing up for those. It is digital. My goal, because I don't have a huge budget allowance to buy myself or splurge on books for myself, my goal is to get some print copies just to fill my library. A few years back, my dad helped me build this amazing bookcase behind me, and my goal is to fill it. I have a lot of really old books, family hand-me-downs. There's a couple of thrift shops around my house that have amazing sales, like 12 books for $1. Like stuff like that has helped me fill this out. So essentially, I have a lot of space that I'm trying to fill, and giveaways are a perfect way to do that. So winning this book, I find slightly ironic because unfortunately a couple months ago I reviewed The Poisoner and it was not a favorite. I really wanted to love it and it just didn't hit for me. So hopefully this is a complete redemption for my relationship with this author. I'm really hoping for that. All Her Fault by Andrea Mara. This one has been sitting on my Kindle for a while. I keep hearing it's a fast-paced thriller with a big twist, which is exactly what I'm in the mood for when I'm looking for a really fun thriller. Betrayal by Vera Pajkovsky. This one was recommended in my YouTube comments. I love when that happens because honestly, some of the best recommendations come from other readers. That's the whole point of the channel. So if you're the one that recommended this, the pressure is on. Chaotic by Chantal Tessier. This is book 7 in the L.O.R.D series. Now this is where things start to get questionable. This is a dark romance and I love this series. If I read it, I'm caught up. I don't know if this series is continuing, if this is the last. I'm hoping eventually someday we get to the kids like she does in all of her epilogues for this series. I'm hoping eventually they get their own series, kind of how Rena Kent does with Royal Elite and The Legacy of Gods. So I don't know if I'm going to read it. I have it on my TBR for spring. It's just one of those, do I want to be done and caught up with the series yet, or should I let it ride for a little bit longer? I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But for now, it's on the spring TBR. The Family Experiment by John Marrs. This was recommended by a couple of my favorite YouTubers. And if you've read the one, you already know that John Marrs writes those creepy thrillers that feel a little too realistic, which is exactly why I'm excited. The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. I need a return to my hockey romances. I love them, and apparently this one is dark romance. So yes, this is dark hockey chaos, and I am here for it. Entangled by R. Phillips is next. And this is a Helen of Troy retelling, which is interesting because I think retellings can be a complete disaster or completely amazing. There usually isn't an in-between, so I'm really excited to find out which this is. Next up is my Audible. A few weeks ago, they had one of their super sales on their series, so you can buy like completed series, but obviously if you're missing some that you've already purchased, you can follow, like say you already own books 1 and 2, you can get books 3 and 4. So that's what I did. I keep convincing myself that I can listen to audiobooks and do other things, which is almost never the case because I usually end up just sitting there and listening. So the first is Mile High by Liz Tomforty. Okay, confession. I've already tried twice to listen to this, and I've DNF'd it twice. So everyone says it is the weakest book in the Windy City series. I know I could skip it, but then you're going to miss out on the foundation levels of certain characters that are going to be in the rest of the series, and I don't like doing that. So I know I have to get through this book. So unfortunately, I need to give it another chance, just bite the bullet, get through it. If I can't get through the audio, I'm going to pick it up as an e-read and just push through, because I'm really eager to get to the rest of the series and find out what all the buzz is about. I love a sports romance. Next are The Summer Children and The Vanishing Season, which is books 3 and 4 in that collector series, which started with The Butterfly Garden, that I love so much and is shaping up to be a 5-star series for me. The series is dark, intense thriller, almost horror territory. So I'm not at all reading the blurbs before I get going, because I want to go in completely blind. Sometimes surprises are just better. Then we have the Hymn series by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I've heard amazing things about this. So that includes Him, Us, and Epic, which is like a 2.5. This is an hockey romance series, and people seem to absolutely love it. I'm guessing I'm probably going to end up binging it if I agree with everybody else. Now we need to talk about NetGalley, because if you know, you know. NetGalley is where you go to request ARCs and then immediately start to regret your life choices, because suddenly you have 15 books on your shelf that you feel morally obligated to read, because they're giving you the privilege of seeing these books ahead of release, and you feel like you want to honor that, or at least I do. So I end up shooting myself in the foot every time I click request. The Final Target by Nora Roberts, one of my all-time OG favorites, who got me into reading romances back in the aughts. I read so many Nora Roberts books after my second child. So 2005-ish, I really got into her books, and Sandra Brown as well. But Nora Roberts, I would go to the actual library, I know, back in the day when I would actually go and get physical books, because Kindle was kind of like a new-ish idea back then. So for me, at the time, it was going to the library, and I would get whatever the max was, whether it was like 10, 15, 20 books, and I would just get all Nora Roberts and just read. So The Final Target releases May 26th of 2026, and I've actually just started the audiobook today. Fake Night by A.L. Rosen. This one actually already released earlier this year, but it's being promoted on NetGalley, the cover with the blurb, and I gotta say I was intrigued, like enough to request it. I don't have a relationship with this author, but it looked interesting enough where I was like, all right, I'll read that. Click. A Pack for Spring by Amelia Emerson. I'm kind of missing the Omegaverse. I'm kind of like, want to get back to it a little bit. So this was perfect. I saw another one of my favorite YouTubers talking about other books in this series, and I believe this is, let me see, book 3 in the Cozyverse. This one releases on April 14th, 2026, so it's coming up pretty soon. This is actually a new author for me, so we'll see. Another book I've just started today on my Kindle is The Anniversary by Alex Finley. I previously read Alex Finley's The Night Shift, and I gave that 4 stars. So I'm really, really excited to see if this is going to be kind of, grabs my attention the same way as that did. So I'm really excited to see if this one pans out. After that, The One Day You Were My Husband by Rosie Walsh. I don't know this author, so this is a new author for me. How about that title? Like, that alone grabbed me and just had me clicking request. Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monaghan. This one releases May 26th, and another new author for me. My NetGalley confession, I need to stop requesting ARCs, because there's basically no deadline other than you want to read it before the release date, but I still feel this intense pressure to read them like immediately, just because somebody gave me early access. But at the same time, when something highly anticipated shows up, I'm requesting it, because obviously. Libby for me is a whole different problem. I currently have a hold on like 30 books. Some of the holds I've actually suspended because I need time to still catch up on everything else. Some of the holds I have are The Whisper Man, Below Zero, Magpie Murders, things like that. A lot of thrillers in that pile, and I'd really like to get it to it. Also some Allie Hazelwood. When you've got a TBR that's stacked, Libby readers know the pain of getting 3 books at once that you've been waiting months and months for in your Libby alerts. Now we need to talk about romantasy, which is not my main genre, but I have quite a few sitting in my Kindle right now, and Audible actually. So I'm thinking I might try them this spring. When I'm in the mood to try to just relax my brain against world building, I'm going to try a few. So we're going to do Hollow by the Twisted Sisters. This one's been sitting in my Kindle for a while, and I'm just really curious if it'll work for me. I wasn't a massive or at all fan of Please Forgive Me, but The Zodiac Academy. Again, here's the thing. I'm 49 going on 50. Some books are just going to read way too young for me, and I can't get there. I just can't get there. Others I can, but something about the way it's written just is not allowing me to get there. Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorich. I also own this one on Kindle and Audible. I don't know why, I just clicked purchase. But the good thing about that is if I struggle in reading, I can switch to audio, and I'm hoping that'll get me through, because sometimes a narrator can totally save a book. So that is the spring TBR chaos. Will I read all these? Probably not, because again, wood reader. But these are the books that are waiting for me currently on my Kindle, Audible, NetGalley, and my Libby. So I want to know what books are currently on your spring TBR, and more importantly, which of these should I read first? Because clearly I need help making decisions. If you enjoy BookTok favorites, thrillers, mysteries, dark romance, hockey romance, and honest reviews from someone who has absolutely no patience for bad writing anymore, make sure you subscribe to the Perimenopause Book Club, because we're just getting started here. And I'll see you in the next video.